Rejected. That was the first thing I saw when I opened the email. There it was, that one 8-lettered word glaring at me through the screen. I tried to quell my rising disappointment. What was I expecting? Submitting my 5th grade novel to a professional literary agent? I stood no chance. Slowly, hesitantly, I skimmed the remaining portion of the email. It said something along the lines of, "Thank you for querying me. However, I don't believe that I am the right agent to represent your work and wish you the best of luck elsewhere." Great, another generic form response. I'd already gotten 12 of those, or was it 13? Sighing to myself, I shut my laptop and prepared for Tuesday's math exam. Here, I should probably go back and give you some context. Ever since I picked up a pen in 3rd grade, I fell in love with the art of storytelling and fiction. I created fantasy worlds in my head, where kidnapped pianists taught music to alien princes, where boys rode on 19th century fighter jets, and where girls discovered carbon copies of themselves from the past. My stories made me feel alive, powerful. In 4th grade, I wrote my first novel. It revolved around this kid called Kira who learned to stand up to her bullies and brave her fears. Though it was kind of cliche, I was still immensely proud of it, to the point where I printed it out and would stare at the glossy cover every night before falling asleep. Unsurprisingly, I dreamed of publication. That was when I stumbled across the process of querying. It turns out that the publishing industry was a lot more complex than I thought. Rather than authors directly submitting their work to those companies, they first have to go through an intermediary, also known as a literary agent. So first, as the writer, you have to send a 300-word elevator pitch, aka your query, to the literary agent. And if they like what they see, then they'll accept you as their client. Great. Now all I needed was an attention-grabbing letter. That later turned out to be a lot harder than I thought. My first few letters were long and meandering, with no real hook or description of the story's stakes. My characters were flat and uninteresting, my premises dull and boring. And somehow, amidst all that chaos, I couldn't even get the layout right. Imagine size 12 Times New Roman juxtaposed against size 15 Comic Sans. That was just one of the many horrors. I used to lie awake at night, thinking about why my letter could ever get rejected. I only had to look at the first sentence to find out. "Dear Susan," my letter said. The agent's name was Martha. Needless to say, I got rejected again, but gradually, with time and patience, I improved my querying abilities. And then I was able to see that I needed to improve my writing in order to get them to notice my book. So first of all, I learned to include my characters' desires, fears, and misbeliefs in the first paragraph in order to create a more compelling hook. I learned to make the stakes more personal, the conflicts more intense. Did anything change? No. I kept getting rejected. But then my mindset began to shift. Rather than viewing each rejection as a personal attack on my dreams, I started using them as motivation. Maybe my career letter isn't up to scratch yet. Maybe publishing in today's ultra-competitive industry is a pipe dream. But even then, so what? Ever since I picked up a pen in 3rd grade, I knew that my purpose in life was to tell stories. And the simple act of writing, of creating fiction, has made me feel so alive, so excited, that not even an email inbox full of rejections could change that. Besides, it's good practice for handling college rejections. Nevertheless, something began to change. Before anyone begins to speculate, no, I am still not published my book to this day. However, what happened was that I began submitting my other pieces, my short stories, essays, and flash fiction to different outlets and media. I won a New York Times writing contest and a few others left and right. That gave me the courage to start sending in poetry. Then, one day, during math class, which is when all the excitement ever happens, I saw a tiny red dot appear on my email inbox, showing that I received a notification. I clicked in, fully expecting a rejection. "Congratulations," the letter read. After making sure that they hadn't accidentally sent the wrong email to the wrong person, I began celebrating. It was the first time my work had ever been published by a legitimate paying journal. It was there for all of Google, or maybe just its handful of Instagram followers, to see. Nevertheless, I'm still immensely proud of that poem, and would like to read you a few lines for today. Sometimes, I just sit with you, or read you some lines from that novel I've been working on recently. Your eyes wander to the shapeless, foreign bag, that pale, silvery liquid like a thread that you stubbornly cling onto. You're a dead man, you can't talk, but I know you're listening from the pale blue waves on the monitor that I ride. Sometimes I can even hear you reprimanding me through the silence, by far your only weapon now. I read my manuscripts to you. I ask for suggestions, knowing all too well that you can't and won't answer. Does it kill you to see how I've turned out? I could leave right now, your shell so frail and shriveled, almost kind, in that stiff bed swallowing you like a rose, or the mouth of a dark, inviting cave. Do you ever regret how you've been to me? Sometimes, when you're really peaceful, I hold my breath just to hear the sound of you struggling. No one knows I pushed you down the flight of stairs that one time that burst a tumor in your brain. Sometimes, when I'm wasted enough, I think that I shouldn't have. We could go on, mother, just the two of us. Let me pluck your crown to pieces. Instead, I come to you, a bundle of flowers in one hand, a web of stories in the other. Thank you. After 8 years of trying and failing, I finally got published. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it is possible to achieve your dreams. And just because the final outcome might not match your exact vision of success doesn't make it any less meaningful or valuable. Yet, I'm still painfully aware of the fact that I haven't published my novel yet. And I'm pragmatic enough to know it might not happen in the next week, the next month, or maybe even the next year. But in the meantime, I'll keep working towards it. I'll keep striving. And if I want you guys to take anything away from this speech, it's that if you have a dream, please hold on to it. Your time will come. For the past few days in DP1, I've been thinking a lot about college applications and which major I want to be applying for. I feel like as we grow older, society places less and less emphasis on our dreams and more emphasis on utility, on what seems practical, sensible even. I studied economics, business management, and computer science, just hoping that I could fall in love with a more profitable major. In the end, I gave up. I almost decided to go for sociology, before I realized that, as interesting as it is, I don't actually want to spend my life studying social institutions and power oppression. Instead, I've been rejecting the one thing I want to do for fear that it's career suicide. Now, I don't know about other fields, but employment prospects are brutal for humanities majors. So my take is that if I'm gonna be unemployed anyways, I might as well do something I love. I might as well take a leap of faith and commit myself to pursuing something I've always been passionate about. I read a book the other day. It's called Letter to D by Andrew Gortz, and it's written to his late wife, Doreen. In it, he recounts a memory they shared where he realized that she was his soulmate all along. You're a writer. So write, she had said. And maybe it's just that simple. Thank you.